we could touch on that one real quick. Miami, Ohio at Ball State. Um, right off the top of my head, I know the under's the play. It's a low number at 126 and a half. Uh, you know, Ball State. If you took the team total with Ball State, you get a better adjusted number. You probably get around, 66, 67 or something like that against a Miami, Ohio team that's owned Ball State, really, for a long time. Ball State did beat them twice this year, but prior to that, I mean, Miami, Ohio is 10-3 against the spread against them since '97. So, they've had success, but they're two different teams. Ball State absolutely waxed them in Miami, Ohio about 2 weeks ago. But only beat them by 2 in that previous matchup. I would lean towards the under. I really would. As low as that number is, I think it stays under 125. So hopefully that helps you. As far as the side, yeah, I'd take the points probably. So that's that one. Let's see how much time we got here. All right, Shady K says, "Hey, is there any way I can turn up the volume?" Yeah, I can try to do that for you. I'm talking into the headset. I know. Let me see something, because you're going to get reverb when I try to do this. Or tell me if this is better. If this is better, then we'll go with that. I think that might be better. But I can do this, but it's going to reverb. Tell me if that's better. Now everyone's going to turn down their stuff. So if that's better, let me know. All right. So back at it. Hopefully that's better. And I'm sorry, I meant to turn it up after I had my music. Let's see. See something here. Okay. So that one's done. Real quick on Monmouth. I mean, Monmouth and Iona played some two good ones. I originally was leaning Monmouth with the -1. The more I look at it, the more I don't like it, honestly. You look at the two previous matchups, and I can remember this one because I was on Iona. Iona had a great home winning streak going. Monmouth came in there. It was January 15th. Monmouth ends up winning the game 110-102. But I do remember this one. Monmouth got up huge in this game, was shooting the lights out, was shooting like 68% in the first half. They had like a 20-point lead. They end up shooting 58% for the game. They just couldn't miss. And Iona comes all the way back in the second half. They got it to win like within 6 and still almost beat them. It took a giant effort shooting for Monmouth in this game because Iona can score on them at will. You look at the one when they played Iona at home, they lost 83-67. They had they shot 30.7%, right? And you think, wow, that's pretty bad. Well, 2 of the last 3 games they've played this year, they shot 31%. So it's not that uncommon. Point being, if Monmouth doesn't have a great shooting night, chances are Iona will. Now, I just talked about playing the unders in the first round, because teams don't shoot as well. Well, if both teams don't shoot well, Iona still wins this game. See what I'm saying? Monmouth needs to shoot well, needs to shoot better than Iona in order to win this game, percentage-wise, right? And I know that sounds stupid, but just because you shoot a higher percentage doesn't mean you always win the game. They're going to have to shoot 5 to 6 percentage points higher to win this game. And that's what made me come off it. Initially, I was on them. That's good, Shady K. I hope it is. Yeah, so originally I was on Monmouth, but I'm sort of stepping away from that today. Real quick, because I want to get into a little NHL before we take off here. I don't know. I'm going to go for about 10, 15 more minutes. It's a quick one today. No guest. Quick cancellation late on the guest today. So, we're just doing this. And like I said, Jeff's show starts in 25 minutes. Hartford at Stony Brook. Random game, American East. Right? Clients, you guys know. We had Hartford plus the 18.5. I actually think I went on Jeff's chat box and told people get on Hartford. Everyone laughed at me. They were getting 18.5 points against an Albany team that was, supposed to easily get to the finals. 18.5 points, mind you. They win the game outright by 9 points. Thank you. Cashed that one. Again today, I'm going to take a shot with them. I'm going to ride these dogs through the tournament. They win just like Holy Cross. You know, I'm up. I'm playing with house money when it comes to Hartford. I'm going to take the shot again with the 18, and this time I'm actually going to put something on the money line. Look at Stony Brook, 0-4 ATS against the spread on the only 4 games that were lined this year. So, I mean, they don't scare me so much. I know they killed them. I get all that, but I'm going to take the 18 with my Hartford team, thinking that they're going to show up and play with a little heart today. And then I talked about that UNH Vermont game. I got a future on both, so I didn't even look at it. Whether it's doing a disjustice to my clients or not, we're just not touching that one. Real quick, I liked what I saw out of Denver last night in their win. I didn't like that they scored 2 more points than I hoped they would have, and it went over, but that defense looked stifling. And, they're getting 10 points today. I think that's another live dog for a Cinderella story in that conference. And then we're going to continue on with what was a client play the last few games, taking this Eastern Tennessee State team that did well for us against Mercer, and then yesterday did real well for us against Furman. They got UT Chattanooga on deck. They lost to them twice this year, but this is a team. This East Tennessee State team won about 6 or 7 in a row. They're playing really good, solid basketball. And Chattanooga, we'll see. We'll see if they can get got. They lost Casey Jones on the 17th of this month. They lost that very next game after that, and then they closed out the season as double-digit favorites, playing the bottom of the barrel of the division, and they didn't cover any of those games. They won them, but they weren't covering. So it was a big blow. I think Eastern Tennessee State can definitely get them today. You're getting 5 points, couple possessions worth. I like it. I mentioned the Bowling Green money line, the Hartford upset, and maybe take a shot with Pepperdine. So that's that. So quick recap: the Kent State team total under, Western Michigan plus 4.5, Pepperdine plus 7, Monmouth crossing out. I got to remember to cancel that one on the Monmouth. Hartford plus 18, Denver plus 10.5, Eastern Tennessee State plus 5, and then the other one. So that's that with that. Fake Fam asking about the Maple Leafs. Well, we can get into that one right now. Buffalo going into Toronto tonight in NHL. For those who don't know that, we're swinging over to the NHL. This is one that, 9 times out of 10, or I should say, it might even be close. Actually, to be factual, I think it's closer to like 8 out of 10 that this game ends in a one goal game, usually in overtime. If you can take the prop on this game goes to overtime, I'd probably take a shot with this one. Much like Washington only plays 3-2 games, and we'll get into that one later as they go into Anaheim. 2 of the best teams in hockey face off today as Washington hits the West Coast. I like Buffalo in this one, to be honest with you. They beat them in October, and they've only lost 2 in regulation to Toronto over the last 10. Toronto reeling. They just can't get a win. Buffalo at least playing with some effort. They're starting to score a little bit, but neither defense is great. But I would lean towards the over, maybe a Buffalo team total over. But you're getting some plus money with Buffalo. I like them a lot. They're actually one of the plays I was going to talk about. I like Buffalo to get a win tonight in Toronto, to be honest with you. And I know you can tell me Toronto's supposed to win. That's great. Keep betting them because they're supposed to win. You can only win once. You can lose 10 more times before you win. Always bet with the trend. You can only lose once. Bet against the trend. You can only win once. You choose what you want to do. Client play, Boston, Florida. Let's see. We got a client play in the Kings-Vancouver game. The other game I want to talk about, Washington-Anaheim. And I mentioned it on the show the other night that, listen, if you can play a prop with Washington 3-2, play it. They had 5 games in a row that were 3-2. They went into Boston the other night, won 2-1. That was Saturday night. Today's Monday. They're out on the West Coast. 1 day, quick turnaround game against Anaheim. They've been sitting idle for Wednesday, and if you don't know, all Anaheim has done is won about 14 games in a row. And we've basically been on every single one of them. We actually were on the under last night and it was a push, but we've done very well with this Anaheim team. That basically, they're like the Raven. They came out of the ashes after a terrible start. I will say this though: Washington has done very well against Anaheim as of late. Last year they swept the series with them. Again, a lot of 3-2 games in this series. I expect more of the same, a solid game, solid 3-2 game. Initially, I would lean Anaheim because, like I said, don't bet against the trend. So I like that. But again, maybe play if you can. Here's a thought, and this is a complete gamble. This isn't an investment. It's a gamble. Parlay. Will this game go to overtime, and will the Buffalo game go to overtime? That could be something to look at. Let's see. What else? San Jose goes into Calgary. Not much here on this one either. San Jose just lost to Vancouver. Calgary finally gets a win. They're back at home. First game back at home from the road trip. Don't like that spot for teams, and hence why they're such a big dog. Arizona going up into Colorado. Colorado's a weird team, man. They're a weird team. They're win-loss. Defense plays terrible. Arizona can't score. Arizona's defense is terrible. You would think Colorado gets it done, but I ain't laying 155 with Colorado. That's it. Everything else is client plays for the most part. Fake Fam's asking about Tampa Bay. Did I not mention that team? Did I not mention Tampa Bay? When I talk about Western Michigan, crossing that off because it was almost a client play, and I erased it at the last second. Well, I'll tell you this Tampa Bay game was also up there, and I erased this one at the last second. Instead of sending 6 plays out tonight, I only sent 4. Tampa Bay was the one I crossed off the list today. Still a free play, mind you, and I'm glad you brought it up because I almost forgot about it. Here's another team that's won 8 or 9 in a row, and they're going into a Flyer team that's playing very well. Very well. I think they actually got him. No, they beat him 3-2 last time. Philly got him last time at home. Tough turnaround for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's got Boston at home tomorrow. Second night of a back-to-back, but so doesn't Boston. That will be a nice one. I can't wait for that game. We got a great play in that one, as we always do when those two play. But you look at Tampa Bay for the most part. They've owned Philadelphia. They really have done very well against them. Tampa Bay not only winning games, but they're just putting 4 spots up on you like nothing. Let's just go through real quick how many goals Tampa Bay has scored in these games during the win streak. 6-4, and I've been talking about this Tampa Bay team since that Pittsburgh game, which basically started this. They needed to play more physical, and they have. They won 6-5, 4-2, 4-2. They won 2-1. Then they won 4-0, 4-1, 2-1, 4-1, 4-3. Tons of goals. Tampa Bay team total over 2.5. No problem with that one either. And the Tampa Bay money line, actually. So those are 2 things that I would definitely suggest there between the team total over 2.5 and also the money line on Tampa Bay. Again, Anaheim in Buffalo also, but if you can play that parlay that they both go to overtime, I'm going to tell you what, it would pay the balls, and I'm going to tell you if you can right now, because I'm going to play it before I forget. Feed 5-3 Indians now. Good, look at that. All right, so let's see if this pays something, because I want you guys to remember this one. Let me see if you can play, will this game go to overtime? Tampa Bay, Philly goes to, you can. Okay, so you play the Philly, Toronto goes to overtime, and you play it with the Anaheim going to overtime, right? So let's see what this pays. Play it for $100, and 100 pays. Dun dun dun. $13.63. 1363. Imagine that. I'm gonna have to add $5 to that just to get it out of that zone. There we go. So 150 pace, 2 grand basically. Not a bad turnaround on that, right? You're getting 40